everybody, and welcome back to the funniest tweets. Today we are here for the Mexico City Grand Prix, a race that did not deliver really the action that perhaps was teased to us after qualifying, but instead we have a few meme-worthy moments. You have submitted some bangers this week. I'm very, very happy. I genuinely feel like the boring races have more memes because a lot of you get a bit more creative that way and probably aren't focusing too much on the race. But either or, let's dive into your reactions. Perez Disaster. Well, of course, we're going to have to start with the big moment that was lap 1 and specifically turn 1. At Sel_Stone, Perez after the start. Sergio Perez, P5, and to be honest, that as much as Daniel Ricciardo having the qualifying of his life was the thing to take the headlines and, of course, out-qualifying Perez was only a tenth and a half off Verstappen in qualifying. And then gets the most glorious slipstream you've ever seen. And Perez, for whatever reason, decided that he's actually playing on an F1 game sprint lobby and just sent it. And genuinely, with his post-race interview, it sounded like that was the case. He said that he could have settled for a podium, but had he known, I mean, obviously I'm paraphrasing, but had he known that, he could have potentially gone for the lead or whatever, he would have basically regretted it. And so he just went for it and turned into Charles Leclerc. Good. At 555 quadrant, Checo tried to attack in turn 1. This gif actually made me chuckle quite a lot. It was a move that was not on. Really, if you actually look at turn 1, it's reasonably tight. There's not a lot of road, track even, that's probably the word I should use. It's a bit late, so I might use words that I probably wouldn't use if I had some sleep in me. But there's not a lot of space. But Perez decided that, no, I am going to go around the outside. I'm actually surprised that he didn't do the Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg style, go straight over the grass of turn 1 and turn 2 and then just rejoin at turn 3. I know they're not allowed to do it, but lap 1, they take avoiding action, and he could have just sat in P3, but instead he committed, he turned right, and then he went flying. And with Sergio Perez going flying, the memes also came flying in. At Casito_NL, Perez was playing Rocket League. At Am3ID777, Checo forgot what he is playing. I'm pretty sure that's there were more Rocket League memes. Those are the two that I decided to pick out. And of course, after that incident, he went flying. You could see the side of his side pod. Good phrasing, Matt. Was basically like how Max Verstappen's was in Hungary when he finished P7 that time after Bottas went bowling, but also he went flying, and so the car was written off, unfortunately, for Perez, and he was out. And you got to feel for the guy. I don't support his decision of just sending it at his home Grand Prix and DNFing, because what is this? It's Formula One, not a sprint lobby, as I say, but seeing his reaction at the end, and of course, he had that camera inside the car, and you could see that he was visibly upset about being out of his home race. But I feel as though he genuinely went for a hero or zero approach, and unfortunately, he came out zero. At McPickle, the number of laps completed by Perez. And that will be the last Perez meme, because I do genuinely feel sorry for the guy. But also, worth mentioning, Perez is now only 20 points ahead of Hamilton again. So, of course, that disqualification, I think Hamilton would have been within 1 point. I think he had fastest lap as well last time out. So, 20 points, 3 races to go. I'm actually excited to see how that second place in the championship is decided and what happens if Perez doesn't secure second in the Drivers' Championship. But for me, I think Hamilton can still and probably will still take that P2. He's amazing around Brazil in particular. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Before we dive into any more memes, I just want to shout out the P1 live show. We are doing live shows on the 3rd of December in Manchester, the 5th of December in Glasgow, and the 10th of December in London. I've been shouting about it a lot. The link is in the description if you want to come to an end-of-season special show, meet loads of new F1 fans. It doesn't matter if you want to come on your own. Lots of people did last time in April. Please come along. We're going to have an amazing time, and I'd love to see you. Aon Goes For It. This was just so surreal, this part of the race. It genuinely felt like game chat in a Call of Duty lobby. Maybe not as, savage as maybe that might be, but Ocon going on the team radio and letting Haas know that he's going to go for it. Oh, hey, it's Kerry. Ocon, you can tell Haas I'm going to go for it. Ocon's move. There were so many memes that came in about Ocon because he said that and then didn't dive bomb. So I don't know if it was supposed to... Haas aren't probably... I don't think we actually heard the team radio if there was any after that, but Haas aren't going to just get on the blower and be like, oh, by the way, Hulkenberg, just to let you know, Ocon sent you a message to let you know he's going to go for it. It was just the strangest thing ever. There's another meme as well. 01 011 00101 underscore Haas waiting for Ocon to go for it. I think we all were. We all just sat there like, okay, I genuinely thought the next time we would see Ocon fighting Hulkenberg, he'd dive up the inside. Of course, he did eventually get through, but it was just such a strange moment. Like, why would you say that? At F1 has to plan, Hulk and the Alpines. Nico Hulkenberg did an amazing job at keeping those Alpines at bay for so long. The Haas literally just went... Williams did that thing, didn't they, where they just went really, really fast, but terrible in the corners. Why don't we try that? And they did, and it almost worked. Unfortunately for them, Ocon got through, and then Gasly, I think, did very shortly after. But Hulkenberg, he had a proper train behind him, and he so nearly secured a point for Haas. At Corey Bate 2, since Matt loves this template, here's Esteban Ocon. It does tickle me so much, these meme templates. I love them. So thank you, Corey, for bringing that in. And then finally, on this whole Ocon, I'm going for it debacle, this one's also brilliant. At Yashi's Ocon, I'm going to go for it. Day 870. I don't know why this one tickles me so much, but it's brilliant. So well done, Kieran. And well done, Ocon, for giving us something to talk about whilst we watched one of the worst racing tracks on the calendar. That was like out of nowhere, Mexico Grand Prix slander, but myself and Tommy sit on exactly the same opinion, and we'll be going into it a lot more in the podcast about how this track is characteristically, we're not talking about the fans or anything else, we're talking about on paper, this track is the worst on the calendar. Ricardo returns. Oh, we have a Daniel Ricciardo segment. After an unbelievable qualifying, he then goes and secures a P7 in an AlphaTauri where they were last in the constructor standings and now they're 8th. That's 20 million. 20 mil. If they stay 8th, Danny Rick, that in itself doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what else he does for the rest of the season. If he can finish P20, if AlphaTauri secure 8th from that result, that is just Danny Rick. You don't need any other reason. That is an unbelievable performance. Ruad Staghorn, Ricardo being the second highest Red Bull like. I just couldn't process that Danny was just in an AlphaTauri, mixing it in the top 5 at the start, at the sort of first stint in the race. Of course, he fell back a little bit, but where did that come from? Yuki looked like he had good pace as well, and then Yuki, unfortunately, Yuki'd. We'll get on to that. But Danny, my goodness me, W. At Notorious TG, Daniel Ricciardo to Christian Horner after he smokes Perez. Oh my goodness me. I don't think Daniel would have beaten Sergio had Sergio not gone for a glory round the outside, oh my God, it's going to be watched back for the next 50 years kind of move. But he did. And so Daniel scored points and Sergio didn't. At Joe Gamer 6P, I think Joe was also as surprised as most of us were, Ricardo getting points in an AlphaTauri. I want to see more of it. I feel like it was very much a specific, okay, for whatever reason, AlphaTauri is going to be quite good round here. I fully expect them to be pretty washed next weekend in Brazil. Honourable mentions. All right, here we go then, the part of the show where there's lots of different memes, and they didn't really fit into a segment, or I just couldn't be bothered to title it. Probably the first, but maybe the second. At EFSQ__, whenever Charlotte's on pole. So I saw a tweet from my good friend, Tom Bellingham, who let me and the world know that Max Verstappen has now converted 10 Charles Leclerc pole positions into his victories. I didn't think Charles would lose the lead as quickly as he did. I had hoped that Carlos might be able to do something about Max, but no, Max just took the lead into turn 1, didn't he? The hope was crushed even quicker than I expected. At Jonty's Corner, Lando versus half the grid today. Lando Norris. Okay, absolute stinker in qualifying, you have to say. It was self-inflicted by both him and McLaren and whatever decisions they decided to make. But my goodness me, P17 to P5. What a drive. And not only that, he then was on the back foot after the red flag as well. Still manages to get back to P5. I'd love to know how many overtakes he genuinely did today. But it also makes you think, where could he have ended up? Had he qualified pretty well, maybe second, third, fourth? It was definitely on the cards on Saturday. But still, an unbelievable drive, and maybe Brazil. Maybe Brazil, we get to see something special from Lando. I mean, more special than obviously all the podiums he's already got. You know what I mean? At Ahmed Bakbar, Charles Leclerc, when he was told it's a red flag and they are doing a standing start. Yeah, well, look, I was actually quite excited. I was very excited for the red flag because, look, Charles got a bit of slipstream to work off with Max Verstappen. They're both on hard tyres. Lewis was on mediums, and you're thinking, well, maybe he'll get the pair of them. But no, Max Verstappen decided that he was going to do a very, very good start on the hard tyres and actually got a better launch than Lewis Hamilton on scrubbed mediums. And Charles Leclerc just kind of got passed by Lewis and then sat in third. And currently, as of recording, he is under investigation for his car being unsafe after the collision with Perez at the start. And probably when this video goes out, I might have added something in at the beginning where I go, oh, Charles Leclerc's been disqualified again. Ignore all my comments that I'm making right now. So let's see. At Mr. Wolfie Face, why did they have to cut away from their fight? I know. Daniel Ricciardo looking very saucy at the end of the race on the hard tyres, chasing down Russell, who was having an absolute shocking time on those mediums at the end. And it looked like he was just about to go for the move, and I think he did. I'm pretty sure it was half a tenth between the two of them at one point. And then they cut to Max Verstappen entering the Forest. No, I don't mind. I don't mind Max Verstappen getting the plaudits at the end because we didn't really see much more of him, and he is the winner of the race. However, let's stick a little mini box in there, shall we? Let's utilise that system that we know you have. All right, Formula One? Use that mini box. I don't care that Max is going over the line. It will spoil your highlights. Daniel Ricciardo was on the back of George Russell for P6. It's fine. We'll get over it. He didn't actually pass him. If he had passed him, I think the uproar would have been even bigger. At Cho_RMZ. Weird strategy here. Yuki Tsunoda. Daniel Ricciardo having an amazing weekend. Yuki, of course, had to start at the back after he had a power unit change. And then Yuki didn't have a good time with Oscar, did he? Looked like he was going to be fighting for some points. AlphaTauri getting a big haul. They still did, but they could have had even bigger. And then Yuki, unfortunately, did a Sergio Perez and just turned into Oscar. I don't know what it is about that corner. The driver on the outside just thinks that the person on the inside is a ghost car. And then Yuki goes on the radio, gets a bit angry. I can understand when you're in the car, you can't fully see the angles. I'm sure when he looks back on it, I haven't seen his post-race interview, he might understand, hopefully, because it was not Oscar Piastri's fault. At Victor073, Magnussen staring at his burning car. So of course, Magnussen was the reason that caused the red flag, and I'm so glad that K-Mag walked out of there. You just see the image of the car just in tatters, and the first thing you think is, I really hope the driver's okay. K-Mag got out almost immediately. And then after that, you're wondering, well, how is this going to change the race? And we got the red flag, and K-Mag was just sat there for ages watching his car just burning. I don't know where the marshals were or where they were posted, or how near they were. Clearly not very near, because that Haas was just cooking for a little while. But yeah, K-Mag was just sat there like, what happens now? At JPeach17, home fans attending the Mexican Grand Prix after the first corner. Yeah, fans leaving because Sergio Perez was out. I mean, I know that there was a lot of passionate fans for Sergio Perez this weekend, but really? Leaving, especially when the Formula One ticket prices are as they are. Really? Like, I did that when I was like 12, where I'd love Michael Schumacher, and if he's out the race, I just wouldn't bother watching, wouldn't really care. But after 12 years old, I kind of was like, I just appreciating the sport. But apparently people were leaving. It's their lives, they can do what they want, but I certainly wouldn't have done that. At Tony Gree 848948575. Russell to Sainz every lap. Yeah, Russell was looking pretty feisty when he was on the mediums. Sainz was on the hards and fighting very, very well. Defending very well was Sainz. I know there's apparently was a bit of weaving and a bit of this, that, and the other. And Mercedes was like, yeah, we saw that. We're going to speak to the FIA and all that good stuff. Nothing ever happened because it was just subtle. It's a bit cheeky from Sainz, but trying to make any sort of thousandth advantage if he can. And then, of course, Russell sort of chewed up his tyres and then fell away. Tommy has told me that he's going to go on a bit of a chat about George Russell and his season this year and actually being kind of going under the radar of not a very good season compared to his teammate. Okay, everybody, strap yourselves in. It's Tommy's Tasty Tweet time. Tommy, who has won a copy of F1 23?
The winner is Caden with this brilliant tweet about Leclerc getting booed with the classic meme, why are you booing me? I'm right, which is so true. Wasn't Charles' fault, but he was getting booed nonetheless, which was a shame, but hey, it's a good meme.
It certainly was. I didn't actually speak about that whilst I was doing the memes because there wasn't actually I didn't see any memes about that, but yeah, it upset me greatly, Tommy, because it was almost, Charles was like on the mic and he was like, no, it wasn't my fault. I couldn't go anywhere, guys. It was quite, sad, wasn't it? Really, he was kind of addressing the crowd. It was. Yeah,
it was almost like apologising for something that wasn't his fault.
I know, disgusting. So anyway, thank you, Tommy, for bringing that up, and well done for winning F1 23. Not you, Tommy, the winner.
Oh, what?
Bye.
Bye.
Right, that is it. Thank you so much for watching the funniest tweets to the Mexico City Grand Prix. It's been amazing to bring you this series. As always, I do love doing it. I love your memes. They get better and better every single week. Hashtag P1 if you want to get involved. Big thanks to EA and F123 for sponsoring Tommy's Tasty Tweet segment. Enjoy your copy of F123. And yes, don't forget the P1 live show if you want to come. We've got the 3 dates. Link will be in the description. And we'll see you. Well, it's race week tomorrow and it's Brazil. It is Brazil. Lock yourselves in. We're going to be live on Twitch Friday, Saturday and Sunday. You better look forward to it because I certainly am. We'll see you then. Bye! That sounded weird. That was quite high.